And it's my honor right now to introduce our first speaker, Teri Aiken. Teri serves as the Chief Executive Officer of Cone Health, which is Guilford County's largest private employer. Teri is here today in a couple of capacities. He's chairman of the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce and co-chair of the Ready for School, Ready for Life initiative, which is a collaborative effort to build a connected, innovative system of care with and for the children and families of Guilford County. And Teri, I want to say thank you for that good work that you're doing. I met you 6 years ago and said, let's go do this together. And you guys are doing amazing work. He has more than 25 years in healthcare. He says his real inspiration comes from working alongside teammates that throughout the organization who've committed themselves to making a difference in the lives of others. Teri joined Cone Health in July of 2009 as Chief Operating Officer, was named President in 2012, and became CEO in October of 2014. You climbed all the way up to the top, Teri. Before coming to Cone, Teri held several senior executive roles in Texas with Harris Methodist Fort Worth Hospital and Presbyterian Hospital of Dallas, as well as Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles and Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. He holds a degree in social work and a master's in business administration. Please join me in welcoming Teri Aiken.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Cindy. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since we first had the seed of the idea for Ready for School, Ready for Life. Time flies. Have y'all noticed that? So the first thing I really want to do, Cindy, thank you for asking me to speak today. I'm really honored and humbled. I only hope that I can say something that's meaningful and of value as you get started with the really exciting next few days. Welcome to North Carolina. How many of you have been to North Carolina before? But those of you who'd never been to North Carolina before had at least heard of North Carolina, right? That's good. I hope you get a chance to have some of our world-famous barbecue. We do have vegetarian and vegan options for those of you who prefer those. And also just to enjoy this amazing spring weather. I would tell you it's like this all the time, but I'd be lying. But you've hit us at the prime moment. Really proud to host you here. I understand this is the nation's largest such conference devoted to early childhood systems. It's exciting and critical work. And again, we certainly welcome all of you here. On that note, I also want to share my best wishes and congratulations to our very own Smart Start organization as you celebrate 25 years of incredible service to the children of North Carolina. I think that's worth acknowledging. And most importantly, I really want to thank and acknowledge each of you. I don't know many of you, but there are certain things that I do know about you. Nobody in the room, because of the work that you do, has chosen an easy path. No one in here has chosen an easy path. The work that you do is incredibly important. It's life-altering. I would say it's world-altering work, and it's extremely difficult. There are times when it takes everything you have and everything that you are. To use a sports analogy, you're called upon to leave it all on the field. And I want you to know how much I appreciate and how much you deserve appreciation for the truly noble work that you do. I have a good friend who's actually a nurse in the health system where I work, and she would describe the work that you do as sacred work. Sacred work. So thank you for being people who do sacred, noble work that makes a profound difference in the lives of others. And it's hard for me to think about more noble work than work that impacts children. So thank you for who you are. Give yourselves a round of applause and recognition. So why in the world do I care about the issues you care about? Well, for a whole host of reasons. I come from a family of educators. My grandmother was a second grade teacher until they had to drag her out of the classroom to finally retire. My grandfather was an elementary school principal forever. I'm also the father of two boys, so I come at this as a father who's concerned about his children. Now they're grown now, pretty much, but certainly it's near and dear to my heart. My wife is a high school biology teacher, and God bless her. She's one of those rare individuals who's really good with teenagers. Thank God there are people who are really good with teenagers, right? But over the course of her career, she shared many stories with me about life in the classroom. And like all teachers, she sees and deals with the downstream effects of what some children unfortunately don't get earlier in their lives. And as you all well know, we do the best we can, but by the time they get to middle school and high school, if they didn't get what they needed earlier, it's hard. It's very, very hard to turn some things around. Her stories are powerful, and they're partly what compelled me to join the board of our county's program called Ready for School, Ready for Life, which Cindy mentioned. I've been proud to serve as co-chair of that collaborative effort since its inception. One of the things we talk about at Ready Ready is that so much of the preparation our kids need has to start before school. And Ready Ready actually goes prenatally through school preparedness in the early grades. And it has to be a systematic approach. And that's what you all live and breathe every day. I know that. And it's why you're making incredible difference in lives and in your own communities. Second, a reason that I care about this is as a business leader and as someone who has the privilege to chair the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, business is finally getting it. Okay? I want you to know that business is finally getting it. Businesses are understanding at a much deeper level, I believe, than ever before, that workforce development is the key to the kingdom. Every day technology is advancing and our economy becomes a more knowledge-based system. We simply have to have individuals who are prepared and ready to contribute, and that starts with early childhood education. I recently had the privilege of joining a consortium of statewide CEOs, including some of our Fortune 500 leaders, advocating for early childhood education and the importance of aiming for third grade reading proficiency. We know that these are indicators of future success. Put simply, business is recognizing that early childhood education is one of the best investments we can make, and we're really starting to build that support and momentum. And finally, there's what I do for a living. I actually help to lead a large healthcare system. And there is an inextricable connection between good health and education. This is something that's become critically important to me and my colleagues and caregivers in our community, especially in our current healthcare environment. As we all know too well, there's so many out-of-school needs, out-of-classroom needs that have to be fulfilled before a child can learn. Do they have enough to eat? Are they getting enough sleep? Do they have adequate housing? Are there untreated health conditions that they're dealing with? These are huge challenges, and we need many partners to make a difference. And we're really especially grateful for the work that Smart Start and your other organizations do in this arena. At Cone Health, we've been partnering in some innovative ways to tackle these challenges. And let me just share one example. So we have an area here in Greensboro where the average median income is $10,000. And there's an apartment complex called Avalon Trace where you can get the cheapest rents in town. As you can imagine, there are a lot of women and children living there because there's nowhere else they can live for that amount of rent. We also have 7 universities and colleges in Greensboro. One of them, University of North Carolina at Greensboro, did a mapping study to assess housing conditions in town. We partnered with them and they overlaid their housing data with our emergency room data, and they found something really striking, really troubling. For the population of this particular apartment complex, we would have expected one person, based on national averages, to have been treated in the emergency room for respiratory issues in a year. But Avalon Trace had 120 such individuals, 30 of whom were kids. That's 30 children who had to go to the hospital for asthma solely because of their living conditions. And as we looked into this further, residents told us their carpet hadn't been changed in 20 years. One man had to put an umbrella up in his bathroom every time it rained. Another one had a working electric socket, one working electric socket where he had to run cords up and down the stairs. The conditions were deplorable, to choose one word for it, right? So Cone Health joined with residents and other agencies to take this case to the Minimum Housing Standards Commission. Our staff testified about the link between housing conditions and asthma. The city ordered repairs, and today I'm pleased to let you know the complex has a new owner, thankfully, who is committed to minimal rent increases and renovations on the property. Our organization, Cone Health, has since invested $120,000 to educate families and support them around risks in their homes and to connect them with resources to eradicate healthcare risks. These children now have an equal shot at being healthy. They can return to school and engage and learn when they were too sick to do so before. It's a new kind of healthcare, and it looks at prevention, education, and systemic change now to avoid unnecessary suffering and costs later. And that's so much of what you all are about. Whether we're talking about one's lifelong health status, the ability to have a fulfilling life, or a child's chances to succeed and thrive and contribute, it's hard for me to name a more important social determinant of all the above than education. And it all starts with early childhood. The work you're doing here today and in your home states is exciting, it's inspiring, and again, it's hard to do. So I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for taking action and for standing boldly in this space where you're actually tackling these challenges and working hard to make things better. You're not just hoping for an exciting future or dreaming of an exciting future or even living into an exciting future. You're actually creating the future for our children and for our communities, and for that, we're all extremely grateful. Thank you all very much.